My name is Amanda Davis, 26 years old, 37 resumes sent, 12 interviews, passed 11 preliminary rounds. I walk into the last room. Today, I arrived 15 minutes early. Nude lipstick, understated yet poised. I checked my armor like a soldier, every detail perfect. Elizabeth Davis, HR director, 23 years in the field, over 10,000 people interviewed. She has her own methodology, 30 seconds for a resume, 5 questions, 3 minutes for a decision. Then I took a deep breath and pushed open that door. This office is downstairs from my mother's company. Her hair was pulled back tightly, not a single loose strand. Her bun like a smooth nut. Her glasses sat low, almost sliding to the tip of her nose. Her fingers lightly grazed the paper, a small habit of hers when reviewing documents, one I'd watched since childhood. Hello, Miss Davis. I'm Amanda Davis, applying for the marketing assistant position. She has no idea her candidate today is her own daughter.
What are you doing here?
I'm here for an interview. Her fingers stopped. In that instant, the conference room grew so quiet, you could hear the hum of the central air conditioning. In that moment, I saw not surprise, not anger, not even shock in her eyes. It was scrutiny. She scanned me from head to toe like checking a failed report. That was not a mother looking at her daughter, but an HR looking at a stranger.
We don't do family here. I won't be looking at this. Leave.
It was a resume I had revised over 7 nights. Mom, I don't need your charity. I'm here for an interview, not a favor. Please, just treat me like anyone else.
Treat you like anyone else? You're my daughter sitting across from me. How am I supposed to do that? Leave.
I'd known her rules since childhood strict business. No favoritism. I didn't blame her for the rules. I only blamed her for not even willing to look at me. The elevator arrived, doors open, the lobby bustling, no one noticing me. I walked out, and Chicago's November wind cut through my collar, making me shiver. I stood at the building entrance, looking up at the window I had just walked out of. I don't know if she was watching. Probably not. She was probably already interviewing the next person. I didn't go home right away. I remembered the last time I walked into that building 2 years ago, on my mother's birthday. I took my brother Benjamin to bring her a cake. She said she had no time to eat it, told us to wait until after work. When we called to ask that night, she said she forgot because of a meeting and put it in the fridge to eat tomorrow. My brother wasn't back from school yet. Mark, my roommate, no, my ex-boyfriend had moved out 3 months ago. He was so considerate even during a breakup, it made it impossible to hate him. There was a crack in the ceiling above, stretching from the corner to the light fixture. How long had it been there? I never noticed. Just like she never noticed what I did all these years. 26 years ago, she gave birth to me. 18 years ago, she got divorced, when my brother was only 6. That night, she called me into the kitchen.
Amanda, you are the older sister. You need to be sensible.
I was sensible for 8 years. I helped with the housework, took care of my brother, and carried everything she couldn't shoulder. I gave up college clubs to tutor my brother on weekends. I gave up internships because my mother traveled for work in the summer, and someone had to watch the house. I gave up weekends with classmates because my 14-year-old brother started rebelling, and she couldn't handle him. She didn't know, because she was never home. She was always working overtime. Sometimes we wouldn't see each other for days, communicating only through sticky notes on the fridge.
Amanda, please go to your brother's parent-teacher meeting. Amanda, there's food in the fridge. Just heat it up. Amanda, Mom will be home late today.
I never threw one away. Not because I couldn't let go, but because I forgot. Or maybe I didn't want to forget. Now, I don't even get a chance to interview. Not because she hates me, but because she cares too much about what others think. She's the HR director. She can't let anyone say, Elizabeth Davis is using her position for personal gain. Even hiring her own daughter. She wants to be clean, innocent, and flawless. And I am the only stain in her pristine life that cannot be erased. The screen light glows in the dark living room, like a window to another world. This isn't a cover letter. It's an invoice. For the past 8 years, I have provided her with the following services: domestic services, childcare services, and household management. Domestic services: daily cooking, cleaning, laundry, calculated at 4 hours a day, at $15 an hour. Childcare services: taking care of my brother, tutoring, parent-teacher meetings, handling school phone calls, calculated at 3 hours a day, at $20 an hour. Household management: shopping, calculated at 2 hours a day, at $18 an hour. 8 years, multiplied by 365 days. I calculated it over and over again. The numbers were massive, so massive I hesitated to write them, but I did. $750,000. It's not about the money. It's my 8 years of youth, everything she erased with the word expected. As I pressed print, my hands were shaking. The printer hummed to life, spitting out page after page. I stacked them page by page, stapling the top left corner. When sealing it, I hesitated for 3 seconds. Then, I put it inside the envelope. That night, I did not sleep. Early the next morning, I went to her office. I didn't go in, and I didn't knock. I leaned the envelope against her door and used the doorstop to hold it in place. As I bent down, I saw my hands. They were still shaking. It wasn't fear. It was the bitterness of years finally finding a way out. That evening, she came home. The foyer light had been broken for ages. She changed her shoes in the dark. I saw the Band-Aid on her heel. The skin rubbed raw. She never complained.
What is this?
My bill. Her fingers gripped the edge until her knuckles turned white. She didn't open it right away. She watched me for 5 seconds. For a moment, I thought she was going to tear it apart. She opened the letter as she always did, reading every word. Her face remained a perfect, frozen mask of executive control. But her hands were shaking. The paper she wanted to dismiss was already warping under her fingertips.
What is the meaning of these calculations? You're my daughter. Helping with the chores and watching your brother was your duty, wasn't it?
Duty. Then when you interviewed me, shouldn't you have avoided conflict of interest? You said you didn't want any family ties. Then what am I to you? I'm your daughter, but I was also your free nanny. Your family ties only exist when you need free labor. In those eyes, anger and incomprehension were quietly collapsing. Something between them had broken forever. Mom, I don't want your money. I just want you to see me. She won her whole life, balancing every ledger, yet before these faded words, she lost everything. She stood up and slammed the envelope onto the floor. Pages scattered across the floor, like the shattered trust between us. My little brother, Benjamin, was doing his homework in the living room. Hearing the noise, he peeked through the crack and shrank back. He didn't come out. He didn't dare. That night, neither of us ate. I didn't eat that night. Neither did she. The food in the pot went cold. The grease congealed on the surface, and nobody heated it. Benjamin secretly went to the kitchen, scooped a bowl of cold rice, and retreated to his room. His door was closed. I heard his chopsticks clinking against the rim of the bowl, tinging, like a little hammer tapping. At 2 a.m, I got up for a glass of water. Passing her room, a sliver of light cut through the floor. I stood in the hallway, barefoot, the floor freezing. I wanted to knock. My hand rose, then fell. For a very long time. Finally, I went back to my room, shut the door, and buried my head in the pillow. The very next day, she took that betrayal of a bill and marched straight into the chairperson's office.
She is my own daughter. How could she humiliate me with this cold-blooded invoice? It's complete insolence.
Margaret listened in absolute silence. For 20 minutes, she never interrupted, letting the coffee on her desk grow cold. A dead silence fell over the conference room. 10 seconds of absolute suffocation, unbroken by anyone.
Director Davis, these household chores and contributions your daughter listed, are they all true?
She did, indeed, help me a lot. But I am her mother. Families do not keep score with money.
As our HR director, you interview your own daughter without recusal, treating it as nepotism. Yet when she does your chores, you deem it duty. Helen, why the double standard?
A dead silence fell over the conference room. 10 seconds of absolute suffocation, unbroken by anyone. The armor of pride she wore all her life was ruthlessly stripped away. In that silence, she finally crumbled into tears. Elizabeth Davis, 23 years in the business, over 10,000 people interviewed, and not once had she shed a single tear in front of anyone. But that day, she cried in front of Margaret.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with her. I'm terrified of the gossip, of people pointing fingers at her. The more I wanted to protect her, the further I pushed her away.
Margaret handed her a tissue.
Elizabeth, is your way of protecting her? Pushing her away? I will interview this batch of management trainees myself.
My mother didn't answer, Margaret said. She picked up the phone, telling her secretary to schedule it. My mother stood in that office like a tree beaten by the wind, all its leaves leaning in one direction. Margaret saw it, and she stared for a very long time. On the day of the interview, I wore a dark blue suit. It was Kelly, my only true friend, who helped me pick it out. She said, "Blue looks good on you, makes you look sharp." With my hair tied up, exposing a pair of silver studs, I bought them myself, grabbed on sale for less than $20. A makeup artist friend did my eyebrows, saying I shouldn't look too plain nor too heavy. They need to remember my eyes, not my lipstick. I walked into the conference room. Margaret sat across the long table, with several board members beside her. My mother sat in the corner, her chair far from the table, as if deliberately isolating herself. She didn't look at me, but she couldn't look anywhere else either. Her fingers were crossed, knuckles white. Margaret didn't look at my resume. She directly asked one question.
Amanda, how much do you think you're worth?
Her eyes were gentle, no scrutiny, no hostility. I looked into her eyes.
Worth a chance.
Then prove it to me.
She smiled, the fine lines at the corners of her eyes crinkling together.
All right. You're hired.
The conference room went silent for a beat. Then someone flipped through papers, someone cleared their throat. My mother stood up, the chair making a harsh scraping sound against the floor. She opened her mouth, but said nothing.
Director Davis, do you have an issue with this?
In that moment, I saw her shoulders slump, like a wall finally giving way under weight, starting to tilt.
No.
She didn't look at me, just walked straight out of the conference room. The sound of her heels on the floor faded further and further away. I sat there, crumpling my resume in my hand.
Your mother is more fragile than you think. Don't blame her.
After that, I was a management trainee. She wasn't my HR director anymore. But what separated us wasn't a table anymore. It was 26 years of unsettled scores. Not on paper, but in the heart. Rumors in the office spread quickly. Pantry, hallways, cafeteria, whispers were everywhere.
Director Davis's daughter is here. Is it through connections?
I heard she handed her mother a bill for hundreds of thousands in housework. Are they even real family?
Once, I went to get water. Two female colleagues were gossiping, but shut up the moment they saw me. They bowed their heads and pretended to scroll on their phones, but their screens were dark. I didn't explain, because I knew explaining only makes it worse. They only believe what they want to believe. But what I didn't know was that someone had already started to act. A colleague named Laura Jensen, in marketing for 5 years, had her eyes on the director position. She walked over to my desk and handed me a cup of coffee with a smile.
Welcome, Amanda. Your mother is a legend in this company.
That smile made a cold shiver run down my spine. My first job was market analysis. Nothing important, just crunching numbers, building spreadsheets, writing reports. No one showed me the ropes. No one told me what was right or wrong. I was like a fish dropped into strange waters. No idea where the currents ran, no idea where to find food. I worked late every night. The entire floor was empty. Only my light was still on.
Still here?
Almost done.
But I wasn't. One night, I noticed someone had been in my files. The folder order had changed. The last modified time showed 8 p.m. I'd already left by then. I had no proof, but I knew someone had been going through my things. The next day, Laura proposed a suggestion at the morning meeting, identical to the analysis direction I was working on. She said it was her own idea. I looked at her. She didn't look at me. Evidence? My computer has login records, but anyone could have used it after I left. I didn't install any tracking software. I don't have any witnesses. The data entry clerk entered a per mil sign instead of a percent sign. 1 point cost me an extra 7 hours. But that mistake wasn't mine. It was the previous handler's. The report was mine, so the responsibility is mine.
David, here's the corrected market analysis. All the data has been verified.
The next morning, I handed the revised report to the marketing director, David Chen.
Amanda, this report is identical to the one Laura submitted yesterday.
Laura? This is my analysis. I did it myself.
The data, the charts, the conclusions, they're nearly identical. The only difference is Laura submitted hers 6 hours before you.
I get it. She went through my computer and stole my work results.
Amanda, do you have any evidence that this is your original work?
Evidence? My computer has login records, but anyone could have used it after I left. I didn't install any tracking software. I don't have any witnesses.
Maybe it's a coincidence, but since Laura submitted first, she gets the credit. Amanda, I need you to do something else.
I can't lose. I can't let Mom find out. It was hard enough for her to get me into the company. I can't let anyone say Director Davis's daughter is a failure. That night, I redid the report from scratch. At 4 a.m., I sent the report to David. The next day, he called me into the office.
This one is better than the last. Much better.
But Laura didn't let it go. She started spreading even nastier rumors behind my back, saying I was having an affair with Jack from marketing, saying I slept my way in. By the time these words got to my mom, it had already been 3 days. That afternoon, I was called into Mom's office. This wasn't a conversation between an HR director and an intern. It was a confrontation between a mom and her daughter.
Amanda, what is your relationship with Jake? Colleagues. Someone said they saw you two walking together from the parking lot. That's because our cars were parked next to each other. Coincidence.
You know the company prohibits office romance? I know, that's why I don't have one.
Amanda, if you made a mistake, I won't protect you. I will fire you myself.
I looked at her face, the face that was so much like mine. I wanted to say, "How can you not trust me?" But I didn't say it. That night, I came home, and Benjamin was waiting for me in the living room. His expression was off.
Sis, the school called. They said I got into a fight.
You got into a fight?
Someone was talking trash about you, saying you only got in because of Mom, saying you're a forget it, I'm not repeating it, I hit him.
I looked at my younger brother, a 16-year-old who was already half a head taller than me.
Benjamin, you shouldn't have fought.
I don't care. They can't talk about you like that.
His shoulders are broad now. He's no longer the kid hiding behind the door to peek.
Sis, has Mom been unfair to you? I saw the bill. The one you wrote. I think you're right.
You don't understand.
I do understand. All these years, she wasn't there. You were. You taught me homework. You went to parent-teacher conferences. You stayed up all night when I had a fever. Mom didn't do any of those things. Sis, you're not her babysitter. You're my sister. You're the most important person to me.
That night, I cried for a long time. Someone at the company posted that bill on the internal forum. The comments below exploded. The post stayed at the top. I read every word, closed it, opened it again, closed it again. It's not that I wasn't scared. I just couldn't afford to be. Worse, someone leaked my personal email and phone number. My phone started ringing nonstop, one unknown number after another. Abuse, mockery, all kinds of voices coming in.
How could you do this to your mother?
I turned my phone off. My mom was called in for a talk by the chairman.
Director Davis, this is your family matter, but now it's spilled into the company. You need to fix it.
She stood in the chairman's office, her hands shaking.
I will handle it.
I was waiting for her in the hallway when she came out. She froze for a second when she saw me.
Mom, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. I just didn't raise you right.
She left. I watched her back, wanting to call out, but I didn't. She needed time. So did I. But Laura didn't. She'd already dropped an anonymous complaint into the HR mailbox. The investigation team had arrived. I stopped staying silent. That night, I posted a long statement on the internal forum. My mom is my pride. Raising my brother and me alone wasn't easy. I didn't write that bill for money. I wanted her to see what I do isn't free. 8 years of my life and work shouldn't be erased by you should. I love her, but love isn't free labor. After I hit post, I closed my laptop. I didn't wait for comments. I didn't refresh. Some words just need to be said. But this time, it didn't end there. An anonymous post appeared, claiming my mom hired relatives for nepotism, and that I get paid for 3 people. None of it was true. But people started to believe it. After that post went up, the tide in the comments slowly shifted. Some called me brave, others said I was selfish. Some still asked how I could charge my own mother. I wasn't going to reply again. Some things only need to be said once. My mom didn't comment. She didn't even like the post.
Sis, Mom printed out your post. She keeps it on her nightstand.
She's been reading it for days, goes back to it every day.
It sits next to her reading glasses and blood pressure pills. The edges are curled from being read so many times. I never asked her about it, but I started to understand. It's not that she didn't care, she just didn't know how to respond. But there was something else that worried me more. My mom's health was starting to fail. The company was hosting a speech contest. The theme? My mother. Nobody from marketing signed up. I did. Not to show off, but there are things I need to say to her face. The day of the speech, the hall was packed. My mother sat in the 3rd row. Her expression was impassive, revealing nothing. She still kept herself looking respectable. I stood on stage, staring at her face. The lights were so bright, I couldn't see anyone else. But I could see her, sitting so upright, like she was the one on trial.
My mother is an HR director. She's interviewed so many people. And she interviewed me too. She said, "You can't work under me." She wasn't wrong. Separating personal and professional is her principle. But she also said, "It's your duty to help with housework and raise your brother." That's also her principle. Same woman, 2 sets of rules.
They laughed. Some looked down.
I don't blame her. I just want her to know the things I do aren't obligations. They're love. But love isn't a reason to take it for granted.
My voice was trembling, but I didn't stop.
My mom always says business is business. But home isn't a company. I'm her daughter, not her employee. She can treat everyone by the rules, but not me. Not when she turns around and uses family as leverage. It's not fair.
A hush fell over the audience.
I'm not standing here today to humiliate her. I'm here to tell her, Mom, I see you.
I see how tired you are, how hard you've had to carry everything.
But I wish you'd see me too.
My mother's chair gave the faintest shift. She stared down at her lap, never once lifting her eyes to me. A faint tremor ran through her shoulders. When the speech drew to a close, applause stretched on and on. She rose to her feet and left without a glance back. Chairwoman Margaret found me.
Amanda, that speech of yours was wonderful. But do you know why your mother left?
I looked at her face.
Was it because she was ashamed? No, it's because she realized she'd been wrong. She's lived her whole life making that mistake, and you laid it bare in front of everyone at the company. She couldn't bear it. What am I supposed to do then? Give her time.
That night, I went back home. Mom was washing dishes in the kitchen. My little brother was doing homework in his room. I walked in and stood right behind her.
Mom, let me help you.
She did not turn around,
It's fine. I'm almost done.
but I could see her squeezing the dish sponge tight, her knuckles bleached white, her shoulders shook faintly. I fell silent and just stood there watching her. I stood behind her, staring at her hunched back. All those years, she'd stood right here at the sink, washing dishes for the whole family. I never knew how tired she was, and she never said a word. I helped her dry the dishes and put them away in the cupboard. She turned around.
Amanda, I'm sorry.
Her voice was soft, as if afraid of disturbing something.
You don't owe me an apology. You've just been worn thin, and you forgot I get tired too.
She broke down crying. This time, she didn't turn away or hide her face. She just stood there, weeping, the faucet still running loud beside us. I walked over, turned off the tap, and held her in my arms. She was so thin and frail in my arms. She cried messily, her nose bright red, tears streaking her whole face. But I never let go of her.
Mom, I'm sorry too. I should have talked to you gently, not lashed out on stage like I did.
She shook her head, too choked with sobs to speak. We talked together until 3 a.m. that night. The company decided to transfer me to the new project team as marketing supervisor. It wasn't because of my mom I earned the role on my own merits. But people still gossiped behind my back. Director Davis's daughter got promoted. She only got it because of her family connections. I didn't bother explaining. Neither did my mom. Everyone on the project team was hostile toward me. They excluded me from meetings, never invited me to lunch, and dumped all the hardest assignments on me. I didn't complain. I pulled off the toughest project end to end. I worked till the wee hours every single day, eating so much instant ramen I couldn't stand the sight of it. The client was thrilled and placed a follow-up order. At the wrap-up meeting, the project lead said,
Amanda made a huge contribution to this win.
Some people clapped, others sat completely still. But I didn't care anymore. I was here to work, not to make friends. Laura watched me from the corner, her expression unreadable and tangled. I walked over and held out my hand to her. Laura, thank you. If you hadn't stolen my report, I wouldn't have produced a better one. She froze and didn't take my hand. I smiled and walked away. My mom retired. Not when she hit retirement age, she took early retirement. The company was streamlining its management team, and she volunteered to step down. Margaret, the chairwoman, sat down with her. You could stay on for a few more years. She said she'd rather not. Her health kept getting worse. Back pain, leg pain, insomnia. All the wear and tear from all those years was finally catching up with her. But I knew the real reason she left early. She wanted me to have no baggage at work. She didn't want people to keep referring to me as Director Davis's daughter. She'd carried that label her whole career. Now, she was finally letting it go. On her last day, I went to her office to pick her up. She stood by the window, looking out at the city.
Amanda, you know, I sat in this building for 23 years. I've interviewed 12,342 people. You were the first one who left me speechless. Because you're my daughter. Because I never knew how to treat you. Mom, you don't have to know. You just have to be my mother.
On the day she retired, I went to her office to pick her up. She was packing up her things. On the desk sat a photo frame with a childhood picture of my younger brother Benjamin. It was worn and old, its edges all curled and frayed. There was also our family photo, taken back when I was still too young to walk. She stared at the photo for a long time, her fingers brushing lightly across the surface, as if caressing all those lost years. I reached out to help her with the cardboard box.
I've got it.
She set the photo frame into the box slowly and gently, as if afraid to wake something sleeping.
Let's go.
I took the box from her. It was light. 23 years she'd worked here, and this was all she was taking with her in the end. As we walked out of the building, she glanced back over her shoulder.
I won't be coming back. But you will. You'll do better than I ever did.
The elevator doors closed. She watched the floor numbers tick by.
Amanda, do you hate me? Hate me for not giving you a chance back then? I don't. Because you put. You taught me that in the end you relied on yourself.
She said nothing. When the elevator reached the ground floor and the door slid open, she stepped out. Sunlight fell on her hair. There was far more gray than the last time I'd seen her. She hadn't dyed it. She'd finally let herself grow old.
Mom, your hair has gone gray. I know. It looks good.
She paused for a moment, then smiled. After retirement, she started learning to paint. She enrolled in a class at the senior college, going twice a week. She painted very slowly, very carefully. My brother said she was the most dedicated student in the class. The teacher criticized her for lacking insight and talent. The other students laughed, but she didn't care. She never imagined she'd pick up a paintbrush in her 60s, but she was happy. She hung that painting in the living room, right across from the dining table.
Amanda, do you think I paint well?
Good,
You're lying to me.
as long as you like it.
You paint one too. Is this what I look like?
Yes,
Too ugly.
that's you. The chairwoman rarely calls anyone up after hours. The last time, it was to announce my mother's transfer. With every floor the elevator climbed, my heart sank another inch.
Amanda, I want you to take your mother's place as HR director.
I'm not qualified.
You are. You know the employees' struggles, and you know the boss's difficulties. You're the best choice.
The moment I stepped out of the building that night, I held the phone like a rope that was about to snap. I sat on the couch for a long time before pressing that number.
Mom, the chairwoman wants me to take your position.
That's your choice. You decide.
During that call, I took off all my armor and shrank back to my most primitive self.
Mom, do you think I can do it? You've always been capable. I just wasn't willing to admit it.
She knew all along. She was just too proud and too afraid. Dawn hadn't arrived yet, but I knew it would. I didn't take the position. Not because I was afraid I couldn't do it. I was afraid people would say I got it because of my mother. Afraid that phrase, "she's Director Davis's daughter," would crush everything I'd built on my own. That desk lamp stayed lit for me, as if guarding words I'd never said.
Amanda, why didn't you take it?
I don't want people saying, I got ahead because of you.
She didn't speak, but I heard that hand tighten its grip.
Amanda, you didn't get where you are because of me. You got there on your own. So what are you going to do now?
I'll keep working in marketing. Wait for the next opportunity.
She hung up. That sigh was so heavy it traveled through the phone line and landed in my ear. I just sat there, letting the darkness swallow me bit by bit. I sat up, cradling her words in my palms. That sentence fell into the frozen soil of my chest like a delayed seed. I knew spring would come. I just had to wait. Outside, the city woke. So should I. Mom started traveling. She joined a senior tour group and visited so many places. In the photos, she's smiling so happily by the sea, wind messing up her hair, and she didn't even bother to fix it. Her hair used to be pinned up flawlessly, not a single strand out of place. Now, she lets it be wild.
Mom, having fun?
Oh, I am.
She told me she met this other lady, also single, also retired. They've already planned Florida for their next stop. Her laughter came through the receiver, so soft, but I heard every bit of it. It's a sound I hadn't heard in a very, very long time.
Mom, you look so beautiful when you laugh. Quit your teasing. Amanda, I miss you.
I miss you too, Mom. But I didn't say it out loud. I just held the phone close, listening to her breathing, just like when she held my hand when I was little. I was promoted to assistant marketing director, unanimous board approval. Yet in that exact moment, all I could think about was our unsettled ledger. She heard the news and sent me a text. Congratulations! Mom is proud of you. I stared at the words, and my eyes welled up. I wrote back, "Thanks, Mom." She sent a smiley face. Then came another, "What you owed me is paid. What I owe you, I'll return slowly." I didn't reply, but I saved it. It was her first time saying that. That night, Benjamin came over for dinner. He cooked tomato and eggs, burnt, but we ate every bite with joy.
Sis, Mum's changed lately.
Changed how?
She started asking me about your school years. She wants to know what you were like back then.
Back then?
Those years she wasn't home. She wants to make up for it.
She can't make up for it.
Do you still forgive her then?
I already have. Not because of what she made up for, but because she is finally trying.
It was the place she had fought so hard to leave, yet could never truly forget.
Your mother used to work here. Now your daughter is here.
She smiled, but her eyes welled up. It was an acknowledgement 20 years overdue. Walking down the familiar hallways, the once cold cubicles now held her daughter's warmth.
You had one when you were little. You tried to grow everything, but nothing survived. Then you stopped. You said it made you too sad when they died.
This one is tough. You don't have to water it every day.
Amanda, you know back then I didn't want you to interview, not because I didn't want you here. I was afraid they'd say you relied on your mother. I've spent my whole life fearing what people say.
So you're not afraid now?
Not anymore. Because you said you relied on yourself. And I don't care what they say anymore. I care about what you think.
Mom, I want you to be happy. Having you guys is my happiness.
Stood there as the sun shifted slowly, our shadows stretching out. Two shadows, one big, one small, leaning close together.
Mum, why did you make so much food today?
How is work going? Are the colleagues nice? Is your boss good to you?
Everything is great.
That's good.
That dinner lasted a long time. The last dish had gone cold, so she took it back to reheat it. It wasn't actually cold, it was warm. After dinner, she helped me wash the dishes. We stood side by side in silence. The tap was rushing, soap bubbles sliding past our fingertips.
Amanda?
Yeah.
That bill, I still keep it. Not because I owe you money, but because it was the most honest letter I have ever received. You woke me up.
Mom, I didn't scold you.
You just wanted me to see you. I see you now.
I am not that resume she once pushed away in an interview. I am her daughter. But now she knows I am also an individual. That snake plant on the sill has soaked up the afternoon sun. Its leaves look even straighter. I don't know if it's the sunlight or its own quiet effort. The next morning, I received a package. Inside was a painting. On the bottom right, there was a line in her handwriting. Amanda, Mom loves you.
Who painted this? It's beautiful.
My mom.